Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my summer of 1994. That's when I made one of the biggest decisions ever in my life. I was living with my late ex-husband Tommy and our two oldest children in Las Vegas. I'm born and raised in Sweden, so I had a really hard time getting used to the desert weather. We had talked for some time about moving to a smaller town to raise our children, and as luck would have it, Tommy's company sent him out to Mississippi that summer to open a few casinos. He came home one day and said, "We're moving. We're going to move somewhere where you can have green trees and I can have sweet tea." I said, okay. I had no idea where Mississippi was. I didn't know what to expect, but I said, okay, let's pack. 2 weeks later, we left Las Vegas on a long, hot trip to Mississippi through the desert. It took us about 3-4 days to make it because we had to make a stop in New Mexico to see family that Tommy had there. He's born and raised in New Mexico, so we stopped to see grandma, cousins, aunts, and uncles. Once we left New Mexico, we got on the Interstate 20 and drove for 2 full days through the desert. Nothing but heat, sand, and emu ranches. That's all I remember from that trip. It was horrible. 2 toddlers in the car, air conditioning didn't work half the time, but we made it. When we finally made it into Louisiana, I finally could start seeing some trees that was green, some grass that was green, and I thought, okay, we made the right decision. We came in on 16 from Carthage heading to Philadelphia, which I thought that was the strangest thing, coming through the countryside and all of a sudden it's a big casino out of nowhere. We stopped at the Silver Star and made it our home for about 3 weeks. That's how long it took us to find a place out here to live. We did not, coming from the city, we had no idea it was going to be so hard to find a decent place to live around here. We had not anticipated a poverty around here. We thought it was going to be more homes available for rent, but it took us a long time to find a decent place to live. One of the reasons too was that we came in during the week of the Neshoba County Fair, which we did not know how big and important that was to people around here. So every time we called somewhere or tried to see somebody about a place to live, all we would always talk, they're at the fair, they're at the fair. You can talk to them next week. And well, that made things a lot harder for us to find a place around here. Once we found a place, we started trying to buy furniture, make a home here in Mississippi, which was hard. It was hard to get people to accept you. I'm from Sweden, so obviously I speak with an accent. We were working at the casino, and people would assume that we were with the mafia, coming from Las Vegas to Mississippi with the mafia. So some people was rude. We were in stores where people didn't want to sell us things because they assumed we were with the mafia. Also, the language was really hard for me to understand people talking down here. But even after the first culture shock, we made it a home down here, and I had made it a home in Mississippi now for over 20 years.